welcome to Pelicans Flock Report, where I give you everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. I'm your host, D. Broussard. Please, 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 before we get started, man, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, man. Shout out to everybody that's already subscribed, man. I really, really appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for joining the Pelicans Flock. And yeah, man, we're gonna keep this thing going, man. As long as y'all keep subscribing, I'm gonna keep this thing going after each and every game, sometimes on off days. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for subscribing. Most definitely, man. So something I wanted to talk about today uh is the Pelicans front office. Now, as we all know, the Pelicans fired David Griffin and they hired Joe Dumars to be the president of the basketball operations. And I feel like it was kind of like some mixed feelings amongst Pelicans fans when we decided to hire Joe Dumars. I feel like there was a lot of talk about how Joe ran the Pistons, and his last stint with the Pistons, drafting Darko Milicic over Carmelo Anthony, and then before he was eventually fired or removed from that position, things weren't really going well with the Pistons. Um, so I felt like a lot of people were kind of kind of in between with the Joe Dumars hiring, but um, I myself, man, I was kind of excited about the Joe Dumars hiring. Just because I know that I've been following the NBA for a long time, man. And I'm a huge basketball fan. I've been following the NBA since a kid, and so I kind of knew a lot about Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars is a very very respected guy around the league. Before he accepted the job with the Pelicans, he was working in the league's front office. So Joe Dumars has been around the NBA for a very long time, and when you have a guy like that you know, that just he knows the game, he knows winning, obviously, winning multiple championships as a player and and as a GM. That says a lot about a guy, man. So for me, I was kind of excited about it. Because obviously, the David Griffin experiment, didn't go that well. Uh, you know, I mean, David Griffin, I felt like he was able to construct a pretty good team, but I felt like the player interaction and trust, I felt like that was kind of like not a thing with David Griffin. You can even think back to, Zion, not really having a relationship with Zion. Um, and all the things that we had to deal with Zion being injured, not dieting properly, just all the things that we had to deal with Zion over the years. I felt like David Griffin should have maybe stepped in and tried to, help Zion get on track, to where he is today. And, you can kind of see the difference between when, David Griffin was the president of basketball operations to now where, Joe Dumars is the president. And now you see a totally different Zion. I mean, Zion has played the most games that he's played in his entire career this season. So that says a lot about Zion and you know uh where he's at currently, in his career, and him locking in, being focused, being ready to be available, be on the court, and be a factor for this team, man. And so far, man, I gotta tip my hat off to Zion, man. Zion has been playing like he was worth the number one pick in the 2019 draft, man. I'm gonna just be honest, and I've said that in previous episodes. I'm a huge Zion Williamson fan. I've been a fan of Zion since his days at Duke. And I mean, man, so like I said, man, it seems like Joe Dumars has really turned the mindset of the players around, you know, wanting to win, wanting to build something here, you know, wanting to get better. Obviously, Willie Green started out as our head coach and he ended up getting fired. Uh, and then James took over. And I feel like you also had to tip your head off to, that move as well. Bringing James Borrego in, making him step up to being a head coach. Obviously, it didn't start out the best, but I think a lot of people don't really understand what it's like to go from being an assistant to being a head coach, you know. And I feel like James has made progress. The Pelicans are winning now currently. They did go on, a 4 or 5 game winning streak under the leadership of James Borrego. So I feel like you still got to tip your hat off to James Borrego, man. The job he's done, basically being thrown in the fire, to lead a team that he definitely wasn't prepared to lead the team. I mean, he was prepared to be the assistant, but he wasn't prepared to lead the team. And so far, he seems like he's starting to figure it out and get it together. You can see, him changing rotations. Guys not playing who were playing before. And it seems like things are starting to kind of get better, man. I really feel like that. And then also, us not really making any, moves before the deadline, and the front office coming out and saying that they actually believe that what we have here already is a playoff caliber team. And at first, when I read the report, I was kind of like, I don't know, because the record is not showing a playoff caliber team. But it's like when you look at the talent that we have, I definitely think that we're a playoff caliber team. You look at the fact that DeJounte Murray is returning, and DeJounte Murray is not a mediocre player. Like DeJounte Murray is actually a really good player. He's a good defender. He's a facilitator. He can shoot. He plays really well, man. He's played really well over the last couple seasons, when healthy. So, DeJounte Murray is not a pushover player, and then you have Herb, you have Trey Murphy, you have Zion, you have Derek Queen that's starting to get better. Eve Messi, who's been playing phenomenal. Um, Also, you have Bryce McGowens, who's another guy who's starting to develop and play really well here of late. So, when I look at the roster, man, like I definitely feel like the Pelicans have the talent to be a competitive team and possibly make the playoffs, man. Like I definitely feel like that. And then we also acquired, 2 second-round picks in that Jose Alvarado trade. As I said, a lot of people were upset about that trade, but I mean, overall, man, Jose probably wasn't going to re-sign with the Pelicans, and the Pelicans probably weren't going to re-sign Jose. I just felt like it probably wouldn't have been enough minutes for him to play with DeJounte Murray coming back and us also having Jeremiah Fears and the emergence of him. Jose probably would have found himself at the end of the bench, man. I mean, honestly, So, I think it was kind of like best for both parties, man. Like Jose was a fan favorite, but I felt like it was best for both parties. Jose getting a chance to go back home, um, to New York, to the Knicks at that, playing at the Garden, playoff team. So um, I definitely feel like it was a good move for both parties. We'll miss Jose, but hey man, like I said, I don't think he was gonna resign here. Um, and I don't think the Pelicans were gonna resign him either. So we ended up getting back 2 picks, which will help us as far as draft capital. We traded away our first round pick for Derek Queen, obviously. Um, and this 2026 draft is going to be a loaded draft class. And, it was definitely a must for us to get some type of draft capital in this draft because I think even in the second round, I think uh, there'll be some really good players in the second round of this draft. Like this draft class is going to be really loaded, man. I think a lot of people like, I think a lot of people don't understand how loaded this draft class is going to be uh talent wise. So I definitely feel like we have an opportunity to draft a good second round player, man. And so yeah, man, we had a Miami Heat coming up, man, next game, man. I definitely feel like this will be a game that the Pelicans can win. The Miami Heat has been, they have been struggling here late. So I definitely feel like this is a game that we can possibly win. Um We just gonna have to start out strong and finish strong, and if we continue playing the way we've been playing, I think we'll be okay. So that game will be tomorrow. I'll be back after that game for another episode, man, to basically break down that game. So yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. That's all I have, man. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, Pelicans Flock Report, where I give you everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. I'm your host, D. Broussard. Until next time, I'll see you guys later, man. I'm out. Make sure you like and subscribe.